Okay, obviously, I'm outside, so it's going to be a little noisy. Enjoying a gift mug that can be true. Happy Thursday. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit more personal, so I'll just give you a heads up. But I'll start with a question because I always start with questions because Jesus asked a lot of questions. Not that I think I'm Jesus, but I think he's a good role model to follow. And that is, how can you know what you don't know? I mean, those things about you that other people see and other people experience and other people put up with, how can you know what they are when you don't know what they are? The reason I'm going in this direction is because I was reading through my um, journal from last year because I always kind of look back and go like, where am I not growing? Where am I still struggling with the same kind of things? Where am I seeing God doing a work? And it was a little over a year ago that I lost my ability to drive because of seizures that I was having. And I wasn't real happy about it. And that's putting it lighthearted. It's very raw and real how I wrote in there how I felt about not being able to drive. It's not the worst thing I've been through. I've been through way worse things. But not to be able to drive for 6 months was really tough. I was utterly dependent on Janet for everything. She was super compassionate. Get up in the morning, take me to work, pick me up when I need to be picked up, take me to meetings. Janet, I got to run the recyclables. She would drive me. But I noticed I had this thing inside of me that was ugly and it spilled on everyone else, including Janet. And Janet just had been through 3 years of really tough caring for both of her parents, caring for her mom and then caring for her dad. Caring for her dad, and I saw the weight of that on her. And I saw in her face the same weight of having to care for my infantilism. So I noticed in my writing that in my venting about how horrible and what an injustice it was that I wasn't able to drive, that I also noticed that I was doing harm to Janet because of something inside of me that wasn't able to deal with it. And so I began to work on this process of going, okay, what is inside of me that's not handling this well? And sure, I can go with it and spill stuff on everyone and harm them, or I can do important work and take care of that. The reason why that's so pivotal for me in reading about that is I'm in the middle of a podcast that Lamar recommended to me, and I had read an article about it, and then I talked with a pastor friend of mine yesterday about the same podcast. It's called The Rise and Fall of Mars Hill. It's about this mega church in Seattle that was started 15, 20 years ago, and it blew up to 15,000 people. They started a network called the Acts 29 network. If you look it up, there is no Acts 29, there's Acts 28. This is just the continuation of the spread of the church. And the pastor of the church had issues that in his success were toxic, like unbelievably toxic. I listened to another podcast of former worship leaders from that church, and they're out of church now because of how toxic his presence was in that church. And so all of us pastors are listening to this because we want to be self-aware of what might be residing inside of us that we're spilling on people in our congregation that we don't even see or experience. How can I know what I don't know? So there's this verse that's been sitting on me. It's Psalm 19:12. And it's, how can I know all of this darkness inside of me? God, cleanse me of my hidden sins. Cleanse me of my hidden faults. And what the writer of the psalm is saying is, I realize that I have things inside of me that I can't see. Don't know that they're there. I'm used to them. And in my interactions with people, in my dealing with difficult situations, I'm allowing those things to harm other people. Now, we're really good at pointing out other people's sins and other people's faults, but we're not so eager to do that inner work in our own self. Like, how can I know what I don't know? And so this verse, reading, coupled with reading the journal from last year, listening to this podcast, made me realize how important it is for me to do the work of seeing what's inside of me that other people have to put up with, that I need to take responsibility for and do something about. So that is the work that apparently I have been involved in. And I know there's some things still in there. There's always some hidden box in our attic of stuff that we've held on to that we just need to go through and throw away. So let me encourage you. There are people in your life who are important to you, that love you, that want the best you and a future with you. And they have been having to live with things about you that they know of, they experience, but you're not aware of. So let me challenge you to take the Psalm 19:12 test. God, reveal to me the darkness that's inside of me, hidden faults that I can't see, in order to be a person that adds to the good in the people around. That is my work today. So it's Thursday. We're moving into the weekend. It's going to be a normal Sunday. We're back in person. We're starting a new series. It's going to be really quirky. It'll answer a little bit of the question that was posted on NCC's Facebook last night. Children, student, after party will be back up again. I see the women coming in for women's book study. It's so exciting. They don't even want to stop. They're dragging this thing out just because they like being together, which is absolutely fantastic. We're putting a man cave cookout together. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. I'm excited. Got a lot of work to do. We've still got to figure out what the future looks like, but I'm excited. So we will see you Sunday, either in person or virtually. And we hope you have a great weekend. And do the work. What is it that you don't know that you need to find out? Take care.